Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, if you guys, is a March wrap up. I read 8 books in the month of March. I was hoping I was gonna read more, but unfortunately I was only able to read 8. And if you guys have seen my April TBR pick, I have a quite big TBR for April and I don't know if I'm gonna be able to finish them all. Okay, so the first book that I've read but I actually DNF'd halfway is Twisted Hate. I honestly was really bored reading this. I listened to the audiobook of it while like driving and I only read a few chapters of it physically. I'm just not interested in Jules and Josh's relationship. I personally really like Twisted Games and Twisted Love more, but something about this one I do not like. I do plan on reading Twisted Lies though, but I had to DNF this one. Will I go back to it? Maybe. As of right now, no.
Yeah, immediately no. Immediately no. Immediately no. I'm telling you right now, I seen what I needed to see.
Since I DNF'd it, I did not give it a rating. I just was bored reading this. So, the next book I read is Swift and Saddled. I actually was reading this in February and I finished it in March. And this is the second book of the Lila Sage Cowboy series, which is the first book is Done and Dusted. And this one follows Ada Hart and Weston. This follows Ada Hart and Weston Ryder. I thought I was really gonna enjoy this book, but I didn't like it as much as Done and Dusted. This one I rated a 3.75 stars. This was a forced proximity trope, which I thought I liked, but apparently I didn't like as much compared to other tropes. But also I felt like their relationship was a little bit rushed. It was good, but Done and Dusted, I think it was better. Another thing is that Wes and Ada, I think they're really cute together and I think they're perfect for each other. Like their personality wise, they're not really total opposites. So I really don't have much to say about this book besides I rated it a 4.75. Yeah, I honestly don't have much to say about this book. I lied, guys. I rated this a 3.75, not 4.75. What I rated a 4.75 was Lost and Lassoed. This is the third book of the series and there is a fourth book coming out. Lost and Lassoed is a single dad nanny trope. And this follows Teddy Anderson and Gus Ryder. I thought I was gonna eat this up. Did not. Compared to Done and Dusted, I realized that I actually really love brother's best friend's brother tropes more than any other tropes. Oh, actually no, enemies to lovers is my favorite, but I did like this one more than Swift and Saddled, which also led me to realize that I do like the single dad trope as well. This book was actually really good. I did try to stay up until like 3 a.m. finishing this book, but this is my very first single dad trope book as well. Honestly, it did not leave me disappointed. Gus and Teddy's banter are to die for. I think their relationship works really well because Teddy is like a people pleaser, I guess you could say, and so is Gus, and like they both want to be there for everyone. They care about everyone else but themselves. They try to accommodate to other people's needs instead of themselves, and they're just always trying to help everyone and be everywhere at once, which makes them perfect for each other because when they're together they can care for each other and like let loose and be themselves. On top of that, in this book we were able to see Gus and Cam's relationship as well. Cam is the mom of Gus's kid. Their co-parenting is like incredible, and I know the fourth book is about to be about Cam and her relationship, which I'm excited for. Oh, we also met Riley in this book a lot too. Riley is their kid and Riley is so adorable and she has literally everyone's personality in her. Gus, Teddy, Cam, Weston, Emmy and Luke as well. Riley has Emmy and Luke's personality in her as well. I rated this a 4.75 just because I really liked it, but I don't really have much to say about this book either. Now, this book, I have a lot to talk about. It's a love letter to whiskey. This book, it wrecked me. If you want to feel every single type of emotion that you can feel, and not only you want to chuck your Kindle, your book out the window every time you read, pick up this book. If you want to cry, pick up this book. If you want to be mad, sad, happy, pick up this book. This book was so beautifully written. It broke my heart chapter after chapter after chapter, to mend it, to break it, to mend it, to break it, and it was just a repeating cycle until I got to the very end of the book. I threw my Kindle a few times reading this book. Also, my feelings were very all over the place because one minute I'm giggling, the next minute I'm like yelling at the characters in the book. I'm yelling at my pages, like literally. I start giggling again because something cute happened. This book has FMC and MMC, and they are, let me just say, they are very toxic, okay? The MMC's name is Jamie and the FMC's name is B. Their relationship is so toxic that is so unhealthy, but it works. They are literally made for each other. Their love was so messy and undescribable, but like when you read this, you can feel their pain. And I believe this was a dual POV. Wait, was it? No, it was not a dual POV. Okay, right. So this book is not dual POV, but it goes from chapter 1 to whatever chapter is. And after that, there's the epilogue. And after that, there's a prologue of Jamie's chapters. And then the ending again. So B and Jamie are like best friends, but to everyone and even themselves, you can tell that they definitely are more than best friends, which took them a long time to figure out. There's so much tension and angst and longing between them two. On top of that, you get a bunch of emotional whiplash. The ending will literally give you emotional distress because the way I threw, cried, kicked. The only thing that I do wish was that I honestly wish there was more chapters. I wish there was more chapters because I don't know. If this book was 1,000 pages, I would have read it because it was just that good. This took me a while to recover from reading it actually. I think it took me like 2 to 3 days to recover from reading this book. There's a lot of growth in the characters, a lot of change, as well as those characters are all memorable and likable, which I did like. Even the minor characters stood out, which a lot of books, a lot of minor characters don't really stand out and you don't really remember them, but this one you do. And I rated this a 5-star. This was a 5-star read. I was struggling a little bit finding 5-star reads after Onyx Storm, which I was only able to find like 1 or 2. This one, it's definitely a 5-star read. Now with 5-star reads, it depends on the book. For me, it could be based off like that vibe. I loved it or I didn't put it down. It was memorable, couldn't stop thinking about it, etc. This was all of it. I couldn't put it down. I still think about it to this day. This is the one book I would recommend to everyone if they just want to feel every single emotion. And now we move on to my favorite series of all time. And I'm not joking when I say I read these 3 books within 48 hours. I basically read it in 48 hours. So this is the Edge of Darkness trilogy. I read Insatiable for a booktuber video I'm doing. I just couldn't stop, so I had to read the other 2, and I finished it within 48 hours. And this whole series, I give it a 5 stars. Each book, I give it a 5 stars, 6 stars, 7 stars, okay? This is in my god tier series now. I absolutely ate this shit up. Did I finish or did it finish me? It finished me. Like, I am still thinking about Cade and Stacy. So there's 3 books. Before I go into it, the 4th book right here. This one, I'll talk to you guys in a bit. But apparently, she's coming out with 2 more books, and I'm so excited. And on top of that, there's apparently a reading order that you could do, which I didn't know. And apparently, her other 2 books, Little Stranger and Little Liar, are also like interconnected to these books somehow. This is the first book of the series, and this is called Insatiable. And before I talk about this, remember to read the trigger warnings, because this book, it is dark, but I do say book 2 and 3 are way darker than book 1, but book 1 is still dark. This book wrecked me. The ending, I did not appreciate the ending at all. I literally was bawling my eyes out reading this. But Cade and Stacy, I love them so much. Okay, so like, I don't even know where to begin. So this book is basically a dual POV between Stacy and Cade. A lot of the chapters are present and past chapters. So the past tells you a lot about Kate and Stacy's relationship and who they are and what happened, and then it goes back to present, and then it goes back to past, present. Like it goes like, it's just really well though. I believe it starts with a prologue. Yes, so it starts with a prologue. It goes into like the present and going to the past, present, past, and like it was just really well written, like how they wrote it. Kate and Stacy though, they are so broken. Like my heart hurts for them. Let me just read this review. I literally will be here forever if I don't. Kate and Stacy are childhood friends, enemies, friends to lovers to enemies to lovers. I don't even know how to describe it, but it's also sister's best friend trope. Kate and Stacy, they were just made for each other, okay? They both have secrets that they're hiding from everyone, and they're holding it in because they're worried they don't want to make others worry, on top of that to burden anyone else. If they both knew the truth and the secrets that they were both hiding from each other, they will both still love each other unconditionally. On top of that, I know Kate would do everything and anything to help Stacy, and also Stacy would do anything and everything to help Kate. So Kate, obviously he's a psychopath, but the way this book is written isn't like a normal like psychopath that you usually read about. His story is so beautifully dark. His characters have so much depth, so much layer to it. His story is really sad, heartbreaking. It just explains why he is the way he is. It shows how he loves people. The reason why he does things is to help the people that he loves. And then with Stacy, she also hides things from people because she doesn't want them to get hurt. She endures a lot just in order to protect people. Stacy is also very patient with Kate, which it breaks me because that is what Kate needs. He needs someone who's patient and understanding, will always be there for him, and Stacy's that person. And the way that he loves her, speechless. These past and present stories has so much layers to it and a lot of secrets, but it adds to the story, and also it shapes them the way shapes them the way they are, along with the other characters in the book. And this book, it just ached. My heart ached. Oh, it's also second chance romance, and then it left off in a cliffhanger basically. So that's book 1. Book 2, definitely darker than book 1, so read your trigger warnings. I picked this up immediately after Insatiable, and I finished it within the same day, and there was also a cliffhanger to this as well, so just know you're gonna have to read the third book right after too, because it's too good. Yet again, my heart broke while reading this. Kate and Mitchell, beautiful. Everything in this book was heart-shattering. At this point, I was hoping that Kate and Stacy would have a happy ending. I needed them to have a happy ending because of what they were going through. We got to meet a lot more of Kate's dad, Tobias
Eaton.
Let me just say, Tobias,
Well, you know him?
the man he is.
I am him.
And that's why we read the last book. Now, Restitution, I'm gonna try to explain this book, but just know there may be spoilers. After I finished this book, I felt empty. This is the one book series, this book series is what I recommend to people who want to read a good dark romance, because this book is absolutely beautifully written and it's just amazing. And my friend read it, and right now she's obsessing over it as well. Like I said, read the trigger warnings because this one is way darker than book 1 and 2. But Kate and Stacy's relationship, their journey, has brought them to a very beautiful ending. They both felt so much pain and endured so much, and I felt the pain for them. As well as the family members and friends in this book, in the 3 books, they're also very powerful. You learn so much about them, even though they aren't the main FMCs or MMCs. These 3 books are really well written for minor characters standing out. And I know there's 2 more books coming out, which is for Luciella and Base, and 2 books are for them. But I honestly love Kate's friends, Base and Des, and Stacy's friends, Luciella and Ty, and as well the parents, Tobias, Aria, and Ewan. But there's also Barry, and then there's also Jason, who is not a parent but is a sibling. But moving on, The last book that I read is Psychotic Obsession, and this is Tobias and Arya's POV. And Tobias and Arya is Kate's and Luciella's parents. You get to meet Ewan, which is Jason's dad. Jason is Kate's stepbrother. You also get to meet like younger Arya and younger Tobias, and basically you follow along their story when they were young to where they are now. The only thing is that I do wish there was more chapters of Tobias, and I really want to know how his brain works and his thought process. Since he is a psychopath, I needed to know more, but there's a lot of chapters of Arya which I did like, but not enough Tobias. So I wasn't able to really understand how Tobias' brains worked and what he was thinking when he was doing certain things. I feel like there should have been a better ending to this book to like show where they are now, even though you kind of can tell where they are now, because if you read The Edge of Darkness Trilogy first, you know where Tobias, Ewan, and Arya is now. But I wish they would include it in the Psychotic Obsession, like a different perspective of them 10 years later, 5 years later, and like maybe show little parts of like their kids, you know what I mean? Like I wish it would show like 10 years later or 5 years later of where Ewan, Arya, and Tobias now, and you can see Kate and Stacy, and then like Luciella and Base, and all the characters, friends, and families, and their life. But it didn't end like that. I would highly suggest reading the first 3 books first and then this. That's the only reason why I rated it a 4.5. It's just that I just wish it had more chapters of Tobias and a better ending. But regardless, this book, I felt so much pain for Arya, and I also felt so much pain for Tobias and Ewan as well. Also for Arya's best friend, Gabriella, my heart hurts for them. But especially Arya, what she endured and what she had to go through was so sad and heartbreaking. But what Tobias had to go through was also heartbreaking, because he couldn't control what he was doing because of certain factors that he was trying to prove. And then there's just one saying in this book that it just stuck out to me. It says, "I think you need to look out for Cade." Tobias says as we pack up, his voice serious. "I just have a feeling he's going to be..." He searches for the words, glancing at his son. "He's going to be a handful." So Tobias sees that Cade is going to be a handful, which if you read the 3 books, you know Cade is definitely a handful. Yeah, I want an epilogue, basically. So there's really nothing else about this book besides that it was really written and I loved their stories, but I just had a few wishes for this book, and I hope in the next 2 books that we get for Luciella and Base, I hope we do get more POVs of both equally, like how we did in Kate and Stacy's story. This one is just mainly Arya story. So also another thing, I know this is mainly about Tobias and Arya, but I would love to see some chapters in here of Ewan. The reason why is just because of the relationship that he has with Arya, but then also there's a relationship he has to grow with Tobias. I just wish there was chapters of him in here, or have a separate book of like Arya and Ewan, or Arya, Ewan, and Tobias. But I know he is not like the main focus of the books. I personally would like enjoy that. This one a 4.5. So those are all the books I read in March. I really thought I read more, but apparently not. But we'll see. Hopefully I can top reading 8 books in April. I'm aiming for 15 books in April. Not really. I have a really busy month in April, so I don't know if I can actually read all of my TBR books. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!